What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and boy, man, this is like one for the ages, man. This is a failure for the ages when you're talking about the Marvels. The worst movie in Marvel Cinematic Universe history, and it's not even close. And basically one of the worst things that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has ever produced, period. You know, whether you're talking about box office or whether you're talking about critical or audience acclaim, it's just one of the worst things that they've ever done. And they spent a ton of money to do it. You know, $275 million spent, and we're still not even done calculating that number, you know, because they had to do reshoots. So let's get into this real quick. This is on the direct. The Marvels just hit a disastrous box office milestone for the MCU. And yeah, they're still setting records, apparently. They're still coming in, setting brand new box office disasters. This is absolutely one of the worst things that's ever happened to the MCU. And what it shows, honestly, is that the MCU is broken beyond repair. At this stage of the game, I think the MCU is broken beyond repair. And that's why you see Kevin Feige doing all of these reshoots, starting stuff over from complete scratch, because he's trying to fix the problems, okay? But you really can't fix the problems at this point. Like, a lot of the damage has already been done when it comes to the MCU. And the Marvels is just nothing but a symptom of all of the other issues that were going on. All of the other problems, it had its own problems. Don't get it twisted. It had its own problems, namely Brie Larson staring you right in the face right here. But a lot of the other issues just had to do with the way that Marvel is going about its business. The way that they're, you know, handing properties like these big properties off to no-name directors, or they're handing them off to no-name writers, people that have no experience or no knowledge of the genre. They don't know anything about comic books, but they're going to write a comic book movie. Well, look how that's turned out for you, Marvel. You see? So, yeah, I think, number one, Marvel is damaged beyond repair. But this article in particular, and the reason I wanted to bring this article up, it's interesting that the shills have finally come to terms with it. Maybe it was from that Variety article way back, but I think the shills have finally started to listen to all of the stuff that we've been saying forever and a day. You know, all the quote-unquote toxic fans, well, we were right, okay? Like, I want to point out a couple of things. Let's kind of walk through this article real quick. So they start off with explaining the box office disaster itself. One of the things they highlight, obviously, is the budget. Anytime you're calculating how things are doing in the box office, you got to start with the budget. How much did they spend on it? Well, according to Forbes, cashing out $274.8 million, let's just call it $275 million on the production. Now, they go on to say that there was a $55 million subsidy for the UK for filming the movie there. That actually brings it down to $220. But also keep in mind that this number right here, all right, this $274.8 million. Yeah, this is the article where they got this from, all right? They spent over $270 million to make the Marvels. Yeah, notice that this number is as of September 30 of 2022. All right, so the movie came out in November of 2023, and we know for a fact that there were reshoots that were going on in 2023 trying to fix this mess. You know, they were doing a ton of reshoots. So, yeah, this $274 million, which they're quoting accurately, but that is not the final number. That is not the final number for the budget. They spent more money with the reshoots. So, yeah, you got to keep that in mind, that this number isn't the final number. That 220, thusly, all right, this $220 million isn't the final number. So we don't know what the final number is quite yet. We're going to have to wait until basically like this same time. When did this article come out? Yeah, September of 2023 is when this article came out. So we're probably going to have to wait until September of 2024 to get the final numbers from the Marvels and see what they actually spent on this movie. It's going to be way more than this. All right, it's going to be way more than $275 million because, again, they did reshoots. Yeah, but continuing on, they point out, of course, that it only made $206 million at the worldwide box office. $206 million, folks. That is absolutely pathetic, especially for a studio like Marvel, which was used to just churning out billion-dollar film after billion-dollar film, all right? Just cranking them things out like a money printer, just going brrr and just printing out money. That's what the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all of its properties at one point in time were able to do. But that's no longer the case, all right? And they point this thing out here as well. The Marvels joins an exclusive club of just 5 MCU movies that grossed less than twice their reported production budget, the rest of which were released either early in the MCU or had to contend with the COVID-19 pandemic. And yeah, here are the films right here, all right? So the only film, right, that didn't have like early on in the MCU, before the MCU really got going in earnest, the only film that falls in that category or wasn't a part of a pandemic where half the theaters in the nation were closed, the only movie that came in that bundle was The Marvels. And it's the worst of the bunch. I mean, that's how bad this thing is, okay? It's the worst of all of these films. Black Widow and Eternals came out during the pandemic, and they did better than The Marvels with no pandemic, nothing going on. And again, Captain America, the First Avenger, Incredible Hulk, early on in the Marvel Cinematic, Phase 1 films. And this is where the Marvels ended up worse than all of them. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious. Then they asked this question, is the Marvels as bad as it seems for Disney and Marvel? Bro, you writing an article, you just put this out there. What do you think? It's horrible for Disney and Marvel. They gotta be absolutely besides themselves right now, man. Are you joking? Yeah, and then he drops this nugget, like, forget this, budget that they spent, the $219 million. They also had to drop some marketing, and they said it's likely going to be more than $140 million that they spent on marketing. So, I mean, you're talking about, even with his numbers, you're talking about $360 million that they spent in total. I mean, you're talking about a ton of money that they spent on this movie that absolutely did nothing in the box office. Nothing at all. And look, I like this, okay, because this cat finally did what we always ask these articles to do. All right. Give us the real scoop when it comes to the box office. Movie theaters also take a slice of the box office gross, usually estimated to be around half, meaning Disney was probably left with just over $100 million to take home from the Captain Marvel sequel. Exactly. That they didn't get all of that $206 million in their pockets. They got to split that with the theaters, And then even with that being said, like sometimes overseas, it's not a 50-50 split, They estimate it's around half, but sometimes it's not a 50-50 split. It depends on what country it was in. Because like China's like, nah, it ain't a 50-50 over here, bro. It's more closer to 25-75. And we getting to 75. That's how China does it, So it all depends on what markets it's all coming into. It's a possibility they brought home less than $100 million. You never know when it comes to the box office stuff, but we usually go with the quick, easy, table napkin math just to kind of get to the number. So yeah, about $100 million is what they brought home for this thing. So they give their totals right here. The Marvels appears to have lost Disney and Marvel Studios around $255 million.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
What do you say if you're Kevin Feige and you're showing that number to Bob Iger right now? You lost how much money? Whew. Yeah, man. That's what I said, man. Marvel, it's over, man. It's over for this company, man. And look how this cat tries to clean it up. I love this part too, all right? He says, luckily, much of this revenue ought to be recouped in home entertainment sales. Really? You really think people are going to come and buy this thing on, digital and physical media? As he says, it's going to make some sales with digital and physical media. Really? How much of this revenue do you think they're going to cut in to this $255 million? Bro, you out your mind, man. Who wrote this article anyway? Sam Hargrave, you crazy, man. You a crazy dude, but even typing that up. You was probably laughing at yourself as you was typing this piece up. That's absolutely insane. Along with the streaming deals. Yeah, this part too. Along with streaming deals like the amount Disney pays itself to put its movies on Disney Plus. Somebody explain to me, how does that help them recoup a loss? How does it help Disney recoup the loss when basically all you're doing is taking money out of one pocket and putting it in another pocket? Oh, man, I'm down a whole lot of money. You know what? I know what to do. I'll have my right hand pay my left hand, and now my left hand isn't so broke. But what about your right? Like it makes no sense, man. What Disney is doing over there, running this business, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense whatsoever. But this guy is out here saying, the streaming deals, what deal? They're the same company. It's like a shell game. They're just moving money around, and they hope that when you pick up the little shell, it's got a little ball underneath it. I mean, it's funny, man. It's just funny. But yeah, this is what this cat is doing here to try to cover up for this giant $255 million loss. And again, that's probably a lowball figure. Now, this is the part that I enjoyed, all right? Why did the Marvels fail so badly? And it's almost like this cat has been listening to a lot of our channels because he's basically bringing up some of the similar talking points, all right? Skipping over the reviews and everything. He's talking about there were MCU troubles. Now, he brings up superhero fatigue. Look, superhero fatigue is not a thing, all right? If you make a good superhero movie, people will go and watch it. Period, end of story, all right? So that's not the issue, all right? But the MCU troubles, oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He says, yeah, the MCU may still be the biggest franchise in the world, and with every new movie and show receiving viral attention, but as reception becomes increasingly middling, not just because of the box office returns, not just because of superhero fatigue, but the actual problems that exist in the MCU itself. The Infinity Saga was able to keep fans' attention from beginning to end as the mystery of Thanos and the Infinity Stones continued to brew. But there is no denying interest has not been as high in the larger MCU story throughout the Multiverse Saga, leaving viewers less motivated to see every last project. The Multiverse Saga is an utter disaster. It was a dumb idea to begin with to go into the multiverse. I don't understand why Kevin Feige thought that was going to work or why anybody thought that was going to work. It doesn't really work in comics. It doesn't really work in comics. I mean, it gives us something to talk about, but we never really get hype over that crap. Multiverse is just messy. It's just messy, and it's not what the fans are interested in. And general audiences, as you can see, are just not interested in it. So you should have went in a completely different direction. Multiverse Saga, dumb idea. It was a dumb idea, and it's one of the biggest reasons, besides all the woke stuff, because the woke stuff is absolutely a part of it, but just the storytelling, just from a storytelling aspect, we can't get into this thing. The multiverse is an absolute failure. But I like this other part that they brought up, all right? The streaming effect. It says here that the Marvel's marketing didn't show any major signs of being exceptional, urgent, spoiler heavy, or MCU significant viewing. Many people just said, yeah, we'll just wait for Disney Plus. And a lot of people are saying that exact same thing about a lot of the Phase 4 and Phase 5 content. Now just wait for Disney Plus. What's the urgency? Is there anything that's really important? That's spoiler heavy, like, oh man, I got to see this in theaters. None of that stuff was going on. Right now, I don't know what the Multiverse Saga really is about. Can anybody say what it's about? Is it about Kang? But who really cares? That's the problem with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They just don't know where this thing is going. Again, the Marvels is just a symptom of the bigger issue going on within the franchise. Kevin Feige has lost his marbles. He doesn't know where to go right now. They're scrambling. And then I like this one as well. This one hits the nail on the head too. Because of the Disney Plus stuff. Those who haven't seen Ms. Marvel or WandaVision may not be as enthusiastic or may even be concerned they won't understand the movie without seeing either show. Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to sit up here and watch an entire television show just to understand the movie. That's not happening. No, sir. So yeah, a lot of people, the people that kept up with this stuff, that's probably the folks that went to watch it. Nobody else cares. All right. I didn't even see Ms. Marvel. I got it, but I didn't see Ms. Marvel. And I wasn't about to watch Ms. Marvel. But think about all the people that are saying, oh man, if I didn't see this, I don't know who this character is. I don't know who this Monica Rambeau chick is. I don't know who Ms. Marvel is. I don't know anything about these people. Nah, I'm good. I'm not going to watch this. It's absolutely ridiculous. But here, the main issue, okay? Finally, somebody came out here and made the point. The Captain Marvel issue, all right? People just don't like this character. This character is not a popular character that people are going to go flock to a movie to see. This is just a character people don't like Marvel. I'm sorry, they just don't like the character, okay? He says it right here. Captain Marvel has proved to be a rather divisive hero throughout her MCU tenure, with many fans taking issue with the character. That's it, okay? They don't like the character of Captain Marvel. Forget Brie Larson for a moment, all right? Forget about Brie Larson just for a moment. It's Carol Danvers. You can put anybody in the role. We don't like Carol Danvers. We don't like Captain Marvel. The way that you have this character portrayed, it doesn't matter who the actress is. We don't like the character. It's like Ray Palpatine. We don't like Ray Palpatine either. And look, we like Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley seems to be all right. But we don't like the character of Ray Palpatine, so foisting this character on us, oh yeah, you're gonna get a $200 million payday. That's it, and you're gonna be splitting that with the theaters. That thing ain't gonna make any money. Exactly like this one didn't make any money. But will Marvel learn from that? No, They're not going to learn from that. They're going to keep pushing heroes that we don't want, pushing characters that we don't want in our face, and we'll just keep not showing up, and then that'll be that. And then they bring this part up, which I enjoy as well. Some may point to her $1 billion grossing 2019 debut as an indicator that that isn't a factor. Captain Marvel undeniably benefited from its 2-month proximity to Avengers Endgame. Absolutely. This was required reading or required viewing. A lot of people felt that way. Now, it turns out it really wasn't. But a lot of people felt like this was required viewing to understand Endgame because of how they finished off Infinity War with the beeper. Oh, Captain Marvel. Okay, we got to go watch Captain Marvel now. And that's the reason why this movie made $1 billion. All right. And we've been pointing that out to everybody since that movie came out. And cats was all, nah, you just hate women. You just hate women, you giant misogynist, you. And that's it. You know, it's like, come on. So people see, they admit it. They have to admit it. Yeah, it benefited, man. It benefited from that. Forget the fact, oh, it's the first female-led movie. Nobody cares about that, okay? Everybody was coming to this movie. It became the biggest film, box office-wise anyway, in movie history. Everybody showed up weekend one. You couldn't get a ticket to that thing. And so, yeah, that's the main thing, you know, when it comes to the box office for the original Captain Marvel. And then they go on and say, yeah, between the controversy surrounding the character and the sequel to Captain Marvel, a somewhat unpopular MCU movie, the Marvels had plenty going against it, which may leave Captain Marvel 3 in doubt. Look, I don't know what this dude is talking about. What do you mean in doubt? That shit ain't happening at all. I mean, golly, man, are you joking? Oh, man, there's some doubt around Captain Marvel 3. It's not happening. No chance. No chance of this movie coming out. I mean, whatever. But look, I like these articles because, look, it's kind of like a post-mortem. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Let's look at all of the damage that they did to the brand. Let's look at how much money they threw away and burned up into the incinerator. Like, Marvel absolutely took it in the shorts on this thing. Will they learn? Will they learn from this? It seems like Kevin Feige is making some major changes. All right. I got another major change I'm going to be discussing in just a minute when it comes to Captain America, Brave New World. They don't know what they're doing over there. And it's like they're out there just produce, and then we'll try to clean it up afterwards. And they're burning through money. And then when the stuff comes out like Echo, they reshot an entire series and it was still trash. So at some point, they're going to have to go all the way back to the drawing board. They might have to hire some fans this time, Marvel. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Might have to actually hire some fans that know what they're talking about, that know the franchise, that know the superhero genre. That might be the only way that you get this thing going. Anyway, folks, you guys let me know what you think about this. I think we can put the Marvels to bed once and for all, unless something else comes up. But you guys let me know what you think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.